That's a deep subject, and it's Monday morning. How about them apples in the first month of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season? We're the last day of it. We have two named storms that were developing. One was Andrea, faded into oblivion in the North Atlantic last week. The other, named over the weekend, Tropical Storm Barry, as it developed from a bit of nastiness in the Bay of Campeche. That's the area. It's in the southern Gulf of Mexico the southern Gulf of America. Between Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula and the Mexican mainland. Barry moved into Mexico overnight, making landfall with winds of 45 miles per hour. As anticipated, Barry lost a bit of its power and is now a tropical depression with 30-mile-per-hour winds and well inland. Naturally, the National Hurricane Center will keep a watchful eye on Barry just in case. Well, good morning. I'm the really mean person in the room, so y'all will have to be extra nice to counter any extreme state of mean for the foreseeable future coming from me, because I don't think I have a cure for it.
Are you talking to us?
I don't think you're mean. Why do you think you're mean?
Well, I was told that I was mean.
I never
You're
told you
mean?
you were mean.
You weren't here.
Okay. Well, who
On
told
Friday.
you you were mean?
Theo!
Oh yeah.
Theo told me I was mean last Friday.
Yeah, he said he's disappointed in you too.
That I'm mean.
What do you mean in what way?
I mean. I just mean.
It was all political.
Oh,
You know, the political views and disagreements and different sides and
well, I
anyway.
think Rayford is just Rayford, but he's not mean. I call you ornery. Ornery.
I was going to say honorary is okay. Ornery is kind
Ornery.
of like,
You're
no,
ornery. Depending on your day.
It depends upon what everybody else's day
What a weekend.
develops. It was
Yeah.
an interesting
Anyway.
weekend, yeah. Well, we got 1 month down. We got 5 to go for hurricane season. Right now, there is an area of low pressure extending from the Gulf of America across a pretty broad area of Florida into the Atlantic Ocean. There is, at this time, no real consensus at the National Hurricane Center as to which way it will go or whether it will even develop into anything. No formation chance is expected in the next 48 hours, and only a 20% chance of formation over the next 7 days. We got some good news, though.
Okay.
No indications that Iran, China, or Russia had anything to do with this blob of troubled weather. They did not wish it upon us.
Oh no.
Okay.
We don't even get our introductions out and you're already talking negative stuff.
Well, I'm trying to get it all out of the way. Well, I can't get it all out of the way. We got one other thing, too. Out there in a little place called I forgot what the last name was. Côte d'Azur, Côte d'Azur.
Oh yeah,
in,
Idaho.
Idaho.
Let's just say
Yeah,
Idaho.
very
Côte
extreme
d'Azur.
northern
It's
tip
something
of
with an
Idaho.
A in it. I don't even know.
Sad afternoon, another nut job. 2 firefighters shot when they were ambushed while responding to a brush fire Sunday afternoon. I'm going to bet you that brush fire was intentionally set by the guy with the gun. Another firefighter was wounded. Sheriff's deputies on the scene say they were fired upon when they got there. While lawmen worked to secure the area, residents in the town, fearing both the gunman and the fire, began slipping away. They were trying their best to get out of the area. SWAT officers combing the wooded mountain area where the shots were coming from reported finding a body and a gun yesterday afternoon, at least for the time being. Police say they think the dead man is the lone shooter, but the investigation is continuing. Local, state, and federal authorities are trying to confirm the shooter's identity and to come up with some sort of a motive. The shooter's cause of death, likely gunshot, was a suicide. No word yet. There was an order earlier in the day to neutralize whoever the shooter was, and those were the words that were used. Don't take that to mean a shoot on sight command. They said neutralize.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, Rayford. I watched that feed last night, and I stayed up to watch last press conference at 1 this morning. But the feed I was watching, the person feed, they were playing the 911 calls that came in and the scanner calls. It would chill your soul to hear it. The calls for help.
Yeah.
It was horrendous. It was just.
Yeah, I
Very
tried,
sad.
I watched the network news, a bunch of different ones, right? I had the best news, believe it or not, two of them from BBC and from
Yes.
Scripps.
BBC is very good.
They were on top of it.
Yes.
Our North American U.S. news networks failed miserably. And what was even worse than that, I tuned into the 3 stations in northern Idaho or in Idaho, CBS. Could not get a CBS, NBC. I could not get a CBS station, ABC, and a couple of Fox stations. They were crappy. They were carrying a soccer match, and they barely interrupted to report on it.
Well,
I'm
I watched
sorry.
the usual.
You got a manhunt going on in a town
Right.
that is being held at siege. 2 dead firefighters, 1 wounded, and you don't break in. I'm sorry, y'all. Too bad.
The feed I watched last night, he was piping in feed from people that were on the scene too.
Uh-huh.
So, but it, like I told you, the 911 calls will chill your soul.
I
It was
understand.
horrible.
I understand. Okay, how was your weekend, ladies?
Mm.
Did you leave the country? Oh, okay.
No.
You could have found someplace cooler, I'm sure.
Oh, plenty of places cooler.
I was talking last Friday, with my buddy up in the mountains,
Mm-hmm.
who always invites me up when it's sweltering hot here to come up there. It was 90 degrees.
Yeah, I was going to say it was hot in the mountains.
90 degrees.
Yeah,
I said,
I have a
no.
friend that lives up there.
It
Yeah.
was 92 here, 90
Yeah.
there. No, thank you. If you'd said it was 71, I may have given some serious consideration.
It was 60 in Dublin this weekend.
Well, I'm not going there either.
No.
You got too many radical, crazy people there from everywhere else.
Well, my weekend was good.
Yeah.
You work in your yard?
I did that Friday as soon as I left here Friday,
Okay.
and
You
died.
had your
dressed-
granddaughter.
No, that was
Thursday.
a couple days before.
Okay, yeah.
I'm running around trying to get her ready for her trip to Greece this year.
Are you really sure you're going to let her go?
I'm working
She's
hard.
going to go with her. What are you talking about?
think
I
there's
can
a-
go visit.
I think there's a good possibility that we could, get that whole thing canceled for you so she could
Well,
not legally go.
I tell you what,
One
waiting
phone call away.
on certain individuals that we had elected
Mhm.
to different jobs in the United States of America, trying to get a little help there has not worked out so well. So,
A lot of people complaining about that all around these here parts.
yes.
I get those complaints. I hear them all the time. And somebody on his end needs to be paying attention to that.
Well, I'm going through our state senator. I think I can get more done.
Yeah. You can get more done going through the dog catcher, I think. It was a busy weekend for a couple dozen members of the Onslow Amateur Radio Club. An annual event called Summer Field Day, we talked about it last week, is
Yes.
designed to let hams test their abilities to set up a bunch of antennas and radio systems at a location away from their homes. Get out of the comfort zone and do it in short order. Again this year, Onslow County Sheriff Chris Thomas, thank you. My goodness gracious, God. He was gracious enough to offer the warehouse at their training facility for us to use for the event. Without a doubt, it was the nicest home away from home facility we could ask for. Plenty of room, air conditioning,
Igloo.
and a secured area. It did get kind of on the cool side in there because
Yes, it did.
It was set to freeze.
I'm not complaining,
I'm not either. I had to put a jacket, a windbreaker on.
but I
at the
know when
late
I
in the
walked
day.
out, I had frostbite.
At 10 o'clock Saturday morning, we gathered in mass and began setting up 8. It could have been 9. It might have even been 10 different antenna systems because we kept putting them up throughout the 24-hour period. We came with tables, chairs, and tens of thousands of dollars. Literally, that place it had enough communications equipment in it you have no idea. Anyway, lots of stuff there, a bunch of computers there. 2 o'clock. H-hour. And we hit the ground running. Had 5 transmitting stations ready to go. That's what we had, the one that we'd entered the category. We had 5 transmitting stations, and we went around the clock, 24 straight hours. The ham bands lit up with amateur radio operators in every state across Canada, throughout Mexico, and in every U.S. possession, each reaching out to other hams who were participating for a quick exchange of vital information as required by the organizers of this 87th Field Day event, the American Radio Relay League. Every contact was logged and the computers were linked to prevent us from contacting the same station on the same band more than once. Multiple contacts with the same station are disqualified when it comes to totaling the score. It is a contest. It's a good old boy contest, but it's also a drill. We want to know, we want to feel comfortable knowing that in the event of any emergency, where ever so important communications between first responders at different agencies, any emergency shelters that are opened, and both emergency and non-emergency situations with people, real people in the area that experiences a natural or man-made disaster. For instance, you get stuck in Jacksonville, Wilmington, wherever, Eastern North Carolina, you're cut off from the outside, your cell phones don't work because the cell towers run out of gasoline for their generators and everything is shut down.
Mountains.
That happens. You can't get anybody to go deliver gasoline. Do you have any idea how many cell towers there are in this area?
Oh, there's
Look around.
a lot.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
each one of them has backup power,
Right.
but each one of them has to be refueled.
Right.
How long do those generators, small tanks, last? Not that long. So when they quit, you quit being able to talk. And how does your family up in Boise, Idaho, reach you and find out, hey, are you okay? Are you safe? We heard how bad the storm was with 150-mile-per-hour winds. Did you get blown away, huh? How do they reach you? How do you reach them? You don't. You go find the hams set up where they are, fill out a little form. It's basically a health and welfare message thing, and it will be relayed through the ham networks to the people on the other end as long as you've got a phone number. They will get to somebody outside the area with a phone. If it doesn't go directly to their town, it will be delivered to them by the person, the nearest ham operator with a telephone that's working. So that's the way it works. So it works for civilians too, like it does for the first responders. This year, great thing that was set up, Skylink comm system.
Was
We
it
had a little
Starlink or Sky?
Starlink, whatever. It had
Yeah.
a small antenna set up outside.
I saw it. It was nice.
Connors, one of our hams, he got involved in it. He did it. It's a very simple process, aimed it at generally northeast, I think it was, and then he fine-tuned it with his phone and done.
There's plenty
Then
of
we-
satellites up there.
And had lots of communications, had plenty. Every ham in the building was logged onto it because we had no comms inside the
That
building.
was too-
No communications inside the building
Right.
because it's a big metal place.
Mhm. Yep.
Nothing gets in, nothing gets out without outside antennas. So he did that, and we were all able to log into it. Computers, we had 17 logged in at one time.
Yeah.
I'd like to have one of those things.
So,
Just to
yeah,
have it in the
I've
backyard,
been
just in
looking
case.
at them and
Mhm.
thinking about them, but I didn't know whether to get one that's stationary or one that's mobile I can take around with me.
Oh, just get a portable. You saw A's that one
Yes.
was. No,
All it was a little unit that looked like a laptop sitting
saw a
inside.
very small
And the
laptop.
antenna, yeah, was outside. Yeah, I've
And the
seen
antenna
those.
was about 8, 10 inches, 12 inches wide at the most, and maybe 2 feet long.
Yeah, you can get one, and right now the residential is like $50 a month for 5 gigabytes, and then it
Really?
goes up to $90 a month for the roving type one. And you can get different plans.
we got a different plan than that one.
Yeah.
So,
You can get different plans. So
anyway, the club bought it this year. We just bought it. This
Yeah,
is
that's
the first time to use it. So it was wonderful.
Randy was saying, yes.
Senator Mike Lazara, himself an amateur radio operator for 25 years. He came by and assisted with our setup. We were kind of looking for some other state, along with invited city and county folks to come by. So see the work that the hams are doing, see what's going on there. And this is all done at our own personal expenses, by the way. Maybe next year. We'll be talking about amateur radio more as we move forward, and we intend to chat with the youngest member of the club. You ready for that one?
Yes, she
School's out
is.
now, so she can come in. She can't drive
She's
in.
a cutie.
So 14-year-old Zoe and her mama and daddy, both hams. At least 2 of them will have to come in because she'll have to, or she can catch a bus, I guess.
She made me feel really bad to start with. I'm only 14. I took the test. What's your problem?
Yeah.
She didn't say it that way, but
Well,
I
that's
was
what
like,
you meant.
God. I was showed up by a 14-year-old.
Yeah, the club's got members from 14. She's the
Yes.
youngest to about 82.
Just as
So
cute.
I'm not the oldest.
She is a cutie.
No generation. That's the cool thing is there's no generation gap between one ham of 14
Right.
and a ham of 82. You're all talking the same language.
Right.
That's the cool thing.
She was burning up that radio.
Talk the same language. All ages, all sexes are welcome. All are equal to each other. It does not matter. You sit down in front of that microphone, it doesn't matter who you are. You're in charge. So it's a lot of fun. You saw witnessed a little bit of fun here this morning. So
South Africa.
as our live and local weather spotters, we were talking with them first.
Right.
Temperatures around the region. We had 74 in Jacksonville, 73 here at the studio is now up to 74, and in Swansboro and it was 77 very humid degrees. So we these guys are out and about and talking already. So anyway, it's a fun thing. But the one after I sat down here and still had the radio turned up before I turned it down,
Right.
I heard our president talking to another station on this local repeater network, right? Because this repeater network also has something called Echo Link on it. Echo Link is where somebody who knows how to do it and it has the codes and is a licensed ham operator can dial in via the internet from his cell phone or his computer. And a guy called in this morning from
South Africa. And he was crystal clear.
East coast of South Africa, hitting our local repeater here.
Nice.
Dale talked with him, and then, of course, when Dale stopped talking, I had to talk to him.
Yeah, Raven had jumped right in
I had to
there.
do that. It's unusual.
Crystal clear there. I could understand every single word he was saying.
It was afternoon there to whatever time it was here, 6:40 or
See,
something.
we need to make that connection because usually the waves come off the coast of South Africa. He's close enough.
He's on the East Coast.
But
on
he's
the
a lot
other side.
closer than we are. But you
I
know
would
what?
think he could hear a little bit about it.
He could run across over to the West Coast,
That'd be like running from here to Oklahoma.
throw some
No,
salt
it'd
or
be like
something.
going from here to probably Japan.
Y'all
Africa's
got
a
to be
huge continent.
positive about
East
this
coast,
now.
southern east coast of South Africa, right across the
Yes.
continent.
Yeah, to go across the continent. Africa's a big continent.
Yeah, but it gets a little narrow toward
A
the
little
bottom.
bit, but
Yeah. So. Anyway, it's a long ways, and I don't think he just put his fingers out the window and see if he could see a wave.
no.
He can wave himself.
Y'all trying to be
What we do need to do is
Positive
make
here.
contact with some people over there and see what it's like. As that thing, as we hear
Yeah.
about it, what do y'all think?
that would be really cool. That would really be cool.
Yeah, I like to find a couple of islands out there, like Puerto Rico. I got somebody in San Juan we can talk to anytime now. So that's not a problem.
I do want to say one thing. That was my first trip out to the Sheriff's Office Training Center.
What a fine facility.
Oh, man. It is awesome. Well done, Sheriff's Office. Congratulations. And I will say, it's been a long, long time since I've traveled those back roads of Luther Midget and all
They
those
didn't have
others.
those back roads when you were traveling.
Where did those big buildings come? What is that great big concrete building before you get to the training center on the same side?
You don't want to know.
No, I want to know.
Well, you're not going to know
Why?
because it's top secret.
And then there's the building on the corner before you get there on the
I've
left.
got a lot of people saying, "Oh my God, what is that?"
I mean, where did all that
I have
come
no idea.
from? That is turned into I didn't even realize
It's
that
developing slowly, but
the
it's
industrial
getting there.
park even had that much in it.
Mhm.
Kudos.
We're going to do weather, but when we come back, we're going to talk about that big old elephant in the room that broke yesterday.
I'm so disappointed.
Well, some people are not disappointed, including the president, and that's
That's what I'm disappointed about.
Bit irritating. Is all I can tell you right now.
Mhm.
Marine forecast, typical summertime pattern will remain in place over the next couple of days, hot and humid with high pressure offshore. The next frontal system approaches the east coast of the United States, especially this part of the United States, by the middle of the week. Out to 20 nautical miles today, southwesterly winds around 10 knots, increasing to 15 to 20. Gusts to 25 this afternoon, 2 to 4 footers every 4 seconds. Close together, but they're small. Sounds and rivers are like chop, becoming choppy this afternoon. Tuesday, tomorrow, some good news. The gods at the Department of Marine Fisheries will allow you to not only catch speckled trout, beginning tomorrow, you can keep a couple. But check with the DMF, the Division of Marine Fisheries website, before you go for the latest regulations that if you break will cost you a couple of $100 in court. That's tomorrow. Speckled trout, you can eat them again, catch them and eat them. Southwesterly winds tomorrow, 15 to 20 knots with gusts to 30, seas 4 to 5, sounds and rivers. Southwesterly winds on Wednesday, 15 to 20, gusts to 25 in the morning, seas 3 to 5, sounds and rivers fairly choppy. We're going to have a lot of mess this weekend for the 4th.
We are. Today it'll be sunny, high of 91. Winds from the south 5 to 14 miles an hour with 23 mile an hour gusts. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 75, and we will have 16 mile an hour gusts overnight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high of 92. Our heat index value tomorrow will be up to 101. Winds from the southwest, 9 to 15 miles an hour in general, with 25 mile an hour gusts. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 75 with 21 mile an hour gusts. And then there becomes a 60% chance of rain overnight tomorrow night. Then on Wednesday, it's going to rain, high of 86.
Please, weather girl, let it rain.
It's supposed to, according to this,
We
there's
need
like
some.
90-something% chance.
We need some
So
rain.
Yeah, they were talking about
Yeah.
a front coming in there.
it's going to come in.
Please.
Yep. So,
Okay, it broke yesterday, a release from the office of U.S. Senator Tom Tillis. It did not really catch me by complete total surprise. I was not shocked. I hated to hear it. I didn't think it was going to happen. But knowing as much crap as he puts up with, especially lately, this long-serving Republican has been badgered a lot. He's been taking it on the chin from political opponents. That's expected. We know that. He knew that. He's been there, got that T-shirt. But during this current term especially, Tillis has been blasted by members of his own party, the Republicans, because
God almighty. Here. I was trying to, never mind.
she's trying to download something.
Just yell at me.
Her phone was not working right.
It's that update.
That's why I don't update my phone.
I'm sorry, interrupted you. Go
he's
ahead.
been blasted by members of his own party, not because he's supporting Republicans, but because he has found common ground with Democrats. Oh my God, he should have done that. Wow. Lord. Mattered not even one time whether he was voting and supporting bills that were good. It's that those bills were often drafted and introduced or by a Democrat, a dreaded Democrat. I've known Senator Tillis since he was first elected to the U.S. Senate. That's been a while ago. I never had contact with him when he was a North Carolina legislator. He was. His bipartisan support was honorable to me. I thought so. Poor guy, never caught a break. There were Democrats gunning for him, Democrats that actually targeted other Democrats who supported common sense legislation, even if it was sponsored by Republicans. In a statement over the weekend, Senator Tillis made mention of that and named 2 Democrats who had had enough of the political foolishness, and they bowed out. 2 Democrats have already bailed out. The people of North Carolina, Republicans and Democrats, have been screwed by the rabid right wing of the Republican Party and the extremely vile left wing of the Democrat Party. Good luck to us all. Tillis has announced that he's serving his last term as a senator. He will not seek re-election. I don't blame him. The president yesterday had the last word when he heard of the senator's announcement, called it great news. Shame on him. Got a feeling that this might unite the Democrats across the country, not here in North Carolina. They're not that strong. But those Democrats from across the country, they're going to gather together. They're going to pool the money, and they're going to do everything they can to take advantage of this opportunity so they can take control of the U.S. Senate. What a war we'll have the next go-round. Y'all better buckle up, you hear? because it's going to be a rough ride, and it's going to be ugly.
Yeah, Politico is already throwing out assumptions and predictions of Laura Trump running and Roy Cooper. And I'm gonna tell you what,
That's
it's
the problem.
my firm
You wait and
belief
see.
that if Roy Cooper throws his hat into the ring,
He'll win.
y'all looking at a win there.
Yep.
But you know, all these people that want to censor Tillis because they didn't agree with something they did back then, and these county Republican parties writing letters to censor. Look at what you've got now.
Y'all
What
can
Tom
look
Tillis?
at you can look at your faces in your mirrors if they don't break.
Well,
I'm ashamed of
I'm
the way
really
we have
disappointed
acted.
in some of the parties, the county parties, posting on their social media the remarks that Trump made about Tillis. I don't,
Yeah,
in
that's
my
something
opinion,
like
I don't think it's necessary to post that. Do you,
I
Kelly?
agree. I don't think that.
I just think it's in poor
It's
taste.
demeaned,
Yes.
it demeaned Trump, but I
Mhm.
expected nothing less from him.
Correct.
I did not expect anything less from Donald
Yeah,
Trump.
that,
Right.
I do not understand the Republican parties, any of them, jumping on board and taking advantage of that, because that's going to make the Republicans look bad. It's going to hurt the local. In Onslow County, you can
Sorry.
count your
it already has.
bucks. It's going to hurt those people who are in office
Already
today.
has.
It's going to hurt the
Mhm.
Republicans who are in office today. Wait until, because the Republican Party has, the Democrats, the only thing that will save anything is the Democrats have imploded, but the Democrats can get it together. You wait
Mhm.
and see. The Republicans are not, because they are like little witches out there when they go getting vile and mean.
Well, this is what I was looking for on my phone, but my phone just kept being noisy, so I
There's
had
a
to
trash
bring it
can
up.
over there for it.
I had to bring it up on Facebook. But you know, there's one guy, one man that has already thrown his hat into the ring, and he's been talking about it for a while from North Carolina, that was going to go up against Tom Tillis, and his name is Don Brown. And yesterday,
I don't know him.
he
No
put
kidding.
out a statement yesterday that really fried my French fries. But he wrote immediate release statement from U.S. Senate candidate Don Brown on the withdrawal of Tom Tillis. Today brings good news for the state of North Carolina, for the North Carolina Republican Party and the United States of America. Rhino Senator Tom Tillis has announced that he will not seek re-election. This marks one of the rare sane decisions Tillis has made since January 20th, when President Trump reassumed the presidency. Make no mistake, Tillis was going to lose in the primary, according to this guy. And if by some miracle had become the Republican nominee, Tillis would have lost to the Democrat. Tillis was never going to be our next senator. Now, this is a person that has already said he was going to run against Tillis. My problem is he's already taken on that attitude that is Trump's way or no way. Tillis stood up the other day for what he thought what he thinks is right and what he believes in. Forget all the years that he's brought us so much here to North Carolina and done so. Just put a knife in his back. That's what bothers
Well,
me.
here's what bothers me about what you just read. He did this, Mr. Brown.
He will
He's
not
gotta-
get
he's
my
gotta
vote.
change his
Mm-mm.
name. He won't get mine. Why do this now? Tillis has announced he's not going to run. So what are you going to do? You're going to campaign off the back of a dead man?
Yeah, really. Let's put a knife in his back and tell everybody about, how we're so lucky north. It's Jack Bright calling. But another thing that really bothers me about this is that Tillis pulled a Walter Jones is what he did. Tillis pulled a Walter Jones. You know, Walter would vote against a 1,000-page bill if they had one page in there that would hurt North Carolina.
There you go.
Ugh.
Good
Get me
morning, Jack.
started.
How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, Jack.
How's everybody doing today?
Well, we're okay till Rayford had to bring up politics.
Yeah. Hey, I was calling in reference to the Tom Tillis announcement that he will not seek
Right.
re-election, but also I was looking at the Medicaid expansion that the state of North Carolina enacted last year or year before last, to the federal government was giving the state of North Carolina money to do Medicaid expansion. And knowing the situation with the community hospitals in Rayford, I know you know this, but community hospitals, they have to treat anybody that walks in that door, whether they are insured or not. And community hospitals, one being Onslow Memorial, was really going under because they were treating so many people that couldn't pay, and the cost was being passed on to the general population that were able to pay.
Let's discuss that for just a second, Jack. I don't want to interrupt you too much, but has the reason that Onslow and other community hospitals were so overrun with those who could not pay is because those who could not pay obviously had no insurance, and they would go in there after hours and on weekends to the ER and have it, or ED, whatever, and have themselves treated for anything from an ingrown hair to a whatever, a stumped toe. They fractured a toenail and they wanted somebody to fix it for them, put a Band-Aid on it. They would go to the emergency room for that because they had no insurance and they couldn't go to urgent cares because urgent care is going to require you to pay, right? Isn't that the way it was working? They were using this as a personal physicians.
Yeah, well, that's the situation that's going to continue to go on. That's not going to stop. But the people that really needed Medicaid were not eligible until last year or year before last, when the state approved Medicaid expansion, which actually statewide were able to cover over 500,000 people that couldn't pay or didn't have medical insurance that really were eligible, and that really got the hospitals back in the black.
Right.
Onslow profited by it. But Tom Tillis, one of the bill that was introduced, the budget that was introduced by the White House was going to, according to him, cut out that Medicaid expansion for states, and then the states would have to pick it up. Now, where the states would pick it up or not, I don't know. I don't know what was in the president's budget to offset that. But Tom Tillis said originally that the House version of that bill he would support, but the bill, when it went through the process, he couldn't support it, and that was why he said that he would not vote and support it. If that's the case, and the hospitals don't get the 500,000 people in North Carolina that can be covered, then the hospitals is going to be back in a situation where they will start shutting their doors, and we could actually lose our hospital, or not just ours, but other community hospitals.
Yep.
And I know that I had served on the hospital authority board for several years, and we were struggling with the people that couldn't pay, and the amount of money that was being lost because the state at that time did not pick up the Medicaid expansion process. But Tom Tillis, I had great respect for him. He has done a lot for North Carolina, and he come from the grassroots area, just like a lot of us did. And I think his main goal was to try to do what he could for the folks in North Carolina. And if he's considered a rhino, then let it be said that he's a rhino. But I think he was actually supporting the people that he represented.
I agree.
He was supporting the needs of the people, and so many others did not see that and didn't care. The Democrats didn't like him because he was a Republican. The Republicans didn't like him because he voted on a bipartisan basis on a regular basis, and he got support from other Democrats. And some of those other Democrats are the ones that got nailed by their fellow Democrats. Duh. If you're not strictly a party person, you just lose in this state.
Well, he just didn't go along to get along, and a lot of politicians fall into that situation, and they get ridiculed and get put outcast because of that.
Yep.
But I think it would be if your show could get Tom Tillis to call in. I'd like to know what the House version of that bill would have been, or that budget that would have been, that he could have supported, and find out from him where he stays in office or not. Apparently that decision has been made that he's not going to run for re-election. I know that Roy Cooper, I think they were on the Democrat side. I don't know who else on the Democrat side, but I think on the Republican side, Bill Berger is going to be running for a seat.
Oh, geez.
And also, I think the president's daughter-in-law that's from Wilmington,
Laura.
that's going to be maybe a player in this upcoming election for that particular seat.
Well, if that's the case, you can rest assured that a guy named Donald Trump will put enough money into that campaign and he will be spending a lot of time in North Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't think Tom Tillis and Rand Paul were by themselves on not supporting this the president's budget. I think that Musk was actually
He's
commenting that
he was.
this particular budget would not be good for the country, and it was all of what he worked for to try to reduce spending and cut spending and cut out waste. All had been basically done away with because of the president's budget plan really puts a lot of burden on the deficit.
The president, and he's not the only one. Other presidents have felt the same way. If you didn't support anything and everything that they supported, they were against you. It matters not that you support 90% of what's in that bill. If you do, that matters not whatsoever that you're in favor of helping him do this and this and this and this. It's that one time that you go against him, like Musk did, like Tillis has done several times. Whenever you do that, he holds it against you. I mean, you become his immediate enemy. He spouts off like he did yesterday. Good news from Tillis. He's not going to be running. That's what Trump said.
Yeah, he takes advantage of when somebody's down. He wants to try to kick them when they're down, and that's just his trait. I tell you, another thing that concerns me is the president initially in the first part of the when he got elected, he came out with all of these astronomical numbers in tariff increases on these foreign countries.
Yep.
Well, when those tariffs took place, there was a lot of people, friends of mine, that had money invested in the stock market, and they seen that their stock, because of the tariffs, was going to be hitting their pocketbook pretty heavy. So they went out and immediately sold off a lot of the stock. Well, to make a long story short, after they got all of their stock sold, dirt cheap, pennies on the dollar, the Trump come back out and said, we might want to back up on these tariffs. We're going to not charge China. We're not going to charge China 145% increase. We're going to knock it down to 30%. So all those people that sold stock
Whoops.
for pennies on the dollar, now their stock jumped back up, and all the people that bought it, stock pennies on the dollar, are now very wealthy.
I should have been one investor because I predicted that was going to happen. I mean, it was like, you cannot do that, and it's not going to fly. First of all, it's a bluff, but it's a bluff with with Trump behind it, so you really don't know what he's going to do. But it was just an effort to make China heal. That's all. That's what they do. I mean, Iran didn't take him for his word, but Iran came around to understand English too, didn't they?
Well, Iran, there's another situation where he said, "I'm going to make a decision about the nuclear program that Iran has. I'm going to make a decision in 2 weeks."
No.
He
said, y'all missed the word. Within 2 weeks.
Yeah, well,
anytime from this point in time to 2 weeks from now is what's going to happen.
That's within.
Duh.
Well, a lot of people would have said within 2 weeks means he's going to give us 2 weeks to make a decision within 2 weeks.
Well,
that's not what that word means.
That didn't happen.
That was a stupid assumption on their part. We know what assume does for you, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'll let you guys go. I just wanted to call in about Tom. I've known Tom for a long time, even when he was Speaker of the House. But
I didn't know him then, but I've known him ever since he was running for the Senate seat.
I've known him.
Been with him on a number of
10
occasions.
years, yes.
Question for you, Jack. Let's just put your forecasting hat on and not weather-wise. Tell me, does Phil Berger have enough Republicans in North Carolina that do not dislike him to get the nomination?
Got
No.
money.
He's got the money, but I'd say no.
Does he have enough people who dollars don't vote? I mean, we've already seen that happen too many times that did not matter. Does he have enough people, Republicans in North Carolina, that do not dislike him to be able to pull off the nomination?
I think he has a good chance at it, and the reason I say that, and I may be totally wrong, but Phil Berger is the one that pushed the. Initially, he was against the Medicaid expansion.
Yep.
Totally against it for several years. He said, "No, we'll never do it." Roy Cooper was trying to push it, and then all of a sudden, year before last, Phil Berger came out and said, "I think Medicaid expansion is going to be a good thing for North Carolina." So 500,000 people in North Carolina like what Phil Berger did.
Sure.
And he pushed it through and got it approved. And then I think it was a real, it weren't a tight vote at all. I think it went through pretty much with a solid majority.
Right.
So I don't know if that will help him or not. I know that he's got a lot of support in the business world out here, the restaurant association world. He's got a lot of support from his colleagues in Raleigh. So I think he could get the nomination if he plays his cards right.
You miss one group of people. Does he have the support of the volunteer firefighters of North Carolina?
I don't know. I don't know if he does or not. I know that the insurance commissioner, Mike Causey, and the House legislators have been at real odds about things. So, and of course, Mike Causey represents the Volunteer Firefighters Association.
Yes, he does.
And he does have clout with the rate bureau, apparently, even though I think insurance rates are too high. And I
agree. I agree.
I really got a problem with who's in the beach plan and who's not in the beach plan as far as the premiums go. And another thing that really bothers me is the insurance companies are allowed, when it comes to premiums, to set the replacement value on your home.
Mm-hmm.
If your replacement value, if a homeowner owns his home like I do and you do, Rayford,
Yep.
we should be able to insure our home for what we think it's worth. If it's not worth but $2, let's insure it for $2. And if we have a total loss, they give us $2. But they, for example, the tax value on my home is one thing, but the insurance company that I have has got it insured for 3 times what the tax value is on my home, and they base your premium on what they think the replacement value is, not what you want to insure it for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's wrong. I think that's
Here's the way I look at it, and I came from a guy from a family with a father who kind of did this kind of stuff for a living. Here's the way I look at it, and I agree with him. My home, my boat, my car, my radios, my guns are worth whatever I will take for them. What are they worth to me? I may have a special gun, a stupid 22 rifle that was manufactured in 1930 by Winchester. It was given to me as a gift. Now, on the market, that gun is probably worth a couple of $100 or something. Would I take that $200 for it? Absolutely not. There are some special things out there that I would not sell for whatever the value is. My home, it may be expendable, or it may be worth more than what the rate bureau says it's worth, the insurance industry says it's worth. It might be worth more to me than that. It might not be worth as much. My car is expendable as far as I'm concerned. But, I will insure it for what I would insure it if I had the option to do that, for what I think it's worth. To me, not to y'all, to me.
That's what I have. I have a real problem with that. If my house is worth say $100,000 or $200,000, and they've got it insured with replacement value at $500,000, then they can base their premium on what they think your house, or what they've got the value set.
That's right.
At. But I would guarantee you that if you had a total loss, if I had a total loss, they wouldn't give me $500,000 for it.
Nope. They'd nitpick you to
They would
death.
send an appraiser out, and then I would only get the appraised value of what they think.
Yeah, they charge you for they charge you for what they think it's worth to replace it, but then they will only pay you what they appraise it to be worth at the time it's destroyed. Duh. Oh, yeah,
I wanted
I got a problem with that.
Well, let me switch gears just a little bit here, right quick. My driver's license expires next year. Don't
worry about it.
And last time I renewed online, and you can only do that every other time now. And there's a good reason for that, because they want to check your eyes and make sure you can see. But I called. I have a friend that works in the Kenansville driver's license office, and I called up there to see what the process was with all this hoopla now about standing in line for hours at the DMV to get your driver's license renewed. And the phone rang for 10 minutes, and I ended up hanging up because no answer. And then I called the Moorhead office, and same thing, rang and no answer. It's useless to call the Jacksonville office, because I went by there the other day on the way to Wilmington, and the line was out the door, way out in the parking lot. People just waiting in the sun. It was 100 degrees outside and they standing out there in the sun waiting to get in to, get their driver's license renewed or get their real ID. Something has got to happen to alleviate that situation. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's gotta happen to get these people out of the elements to get in and get their license.
They need to get a bigger building at all locations, and they need to double the number of license examiners.
Yeah, well, that's
period,
what
right across the line. That's one of the proposals. But if they don't include a bigger, we got the same stupid building we had when I got my driver's license when I was 16. Okay? Duh.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. We have a few more people in this neck of the woods than we had when I was 16.
Mm-hmm. True.
What?
Well, if you
10
remember,
times as many?
I don't know if you remember or not, Rayford, but Camp Lejeune had at Midway Park. They had the driver's license office there in Midway Park, and all of the military
Yep.
went to that office to get their license renewed. Now we only have one office, and now the civilian population, which we have way more number now than that particular period of time.
Mm-hmm.
But now they only have that one office out there where you're referring to as the original place, and that's where I went and got my driver's license
Yep.
when I was 16 years old.
We probably crossed paths when you were there.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, well, I've got my rant in for the day.
Jack, I appreciate your call, sir. Glad
All
somebody
right,
else
you
is.
folks take care.
You
Try
too,
to stay
Jack.
cool.
Okay, I'm taking
All right.
votes today. You're the first caller. So would you describe me as mean, ornery, or honorary?
Oh, gosh.
If I were to categorize that particular,
Yeah, me. How would you describe me? Including the word mean, would mean be involved?
I would say stubborn, set in your ways,
True.
and I probably will think of a few more.
The word mean,
Categories too, but I'm not-
no, the word mean doesn't come to I mean,
No, you're not mean. You're just you.
mean?
You're
Doesn't-
not mean.
Mean doesn't come up?
No.
My way or the highway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's not mean.
What's over there on that sticking up over there? There are two things that are vertical over there.
You
right?
talking about
What are those two things?
That
One of them
wooden-
looks like a-
and a nightstick.
One of
Yeah.
them's a nightstick, right? Same one I
Right.
had back in the 70s, Jack, by the way. And the other thing is a wooden pickaxe handle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Autographed by whom?
Buford
Buford Pusser.
Pusser.
Yep.
I'm not mean,
No,
am I?
No.
You know, I met the real.
So did
Buford,
so did I when he was in
uh,
Jacksonville.
Yeah, he came here he was staying at the Thunderbird. He came here to
Oh.
promote his movie.
Yep, he did. I had not seen the movie at the time, but I was working in radio and I had a chance to interview him. That boy was battle scarred.
Yeah, he went through a tough situation over when he was sheriff there,
Yeah.
and where was it? Tennessee, or Kentucky?
Tennessee. Yeah.
Tennessee.
Yeah, when the good old boys ruled the land up until he took over. Oh boy. So yeah, he suffered through that one. All right, Jack. Thank you, sir.
Take care.
All right, you too. I'd rather be mean.
Oh my Lord. All right, then we're gonna call you mean. You're
Okay,
not
thinking
mean. I'm gonna
mean,
lie. I don't lie, but
mean,
I'm about to make a lie.
Mean green.
Mhm.
Mean
He's so
machine.
disturbed that he's not mean, Lee. So we'll just make him mean. He's mean.
You're making Theo disturb you over what he said?
No, I
You're
was just
not
taking.
mean.
He used to call me deplorable, and I'm trying to find a word that I can put up there that says mean. I'm deplorable
you're not
and
You're
mean.
going to retire that T-shirt and get one that says mean.
That'd be good.
But he's not mean. He's just
No, he's not
just
mean.
him. No.
He's got his opinions like we have our opinions, and he lets us know his opinions are right. So we're good. We're good.
I give you all the opportunity to do whatever.
Yes, you do.
Hot with these things on.
I do
Oh,
want to say
my.
what now?
What do you what?
Holy moly, for you military guys, especially those in the Army, and especially if you're
Oh, yeah, I
African
saw that.
American, especially if you're African American, the Army is preparing to roll out a new policy that could lead to soldiers diagnosed with a chronic skin condition that causes painful razor bumps and scarring to be
stop.
kicked out of the service. And that's an issue that disproportionately affects black people. The new men, not women. The new guidance, expected to take effect in the coming weeks, would bar permanent shaving waivers and require medical personnel to craft formal treatment plans for affected troops. That's according to a bunch of service officials and internal documents reviewed by military.com. Soldiers in need of prolonged waivers may be directed to get laser treatments. Take all the hair out. That way you don't shave. You ever seen anybody with laser treated?
No.
Here
We
we go.
had
I didn't
one.
know that was the thing.
We had one guy, in the TV station. He did it, and he did it as he wanted to do it, and he did it as a series of stories. He was one of our anchors, so he did it as a series of stories as they went through this and this. It doesn't get rid of all of them forever because new ones come up, but I don't know. He can go a long time without shaving. Interesting. Well, you've seen them where some guys will. There are some things that people are prone to ingrown hairs
Yeah.
on your face,
True.
and by the time you got an ingrown hair and you shave it one time, slightly, then the infection starts.
True that.
So I've seen a lot of guys like that, and so you can be removed from the Army if you can't
I think
shave.
that's a stupid reason to be removed from the Army.
Would you just let their beards grow?
I mean,
You'd have to get medical.
in terms of warfare, well, when they're in war, a lot of times they grow beards. They don't even take showers. Well, it's better now, but during Desert Storm, 40 days. I know somebody 40 days with no shower over in Iraq.
Well, I think the
Shave.
military's relaxed a lot, though. Like tattoos, they're allowing tattoos so long as they don't show or whatever. But they wouldn't even allow that before.
You could not get them if you didn't have them when you got in, you couldn't add them. But for so long, I mean, tattoos were the going thing.
Right.
When you're deployed or whatever, you went out and you had USMC or USN or the girly pictures on a lot of sailors. And
Oh, yes.
Generally during drunken periods of liberty. I never got one.
Yeah, well, I want to send out congratulations to the city of Jacksonville. The Eastern Carolina cities of Kinston and Jacksonville are among the 10 All-America City Award recipients.
Yay.
This year, the National Civic League says 10 communities were recognized for their transformative, community-driven efforts to strengthen environmental sustainability and for their civic infrastructure.
Mhm.
And Jacksonville was one of them. The last time they won was in 1992. They had a team that went to Denver over the weekend to compete and to present our platform or whatever. And so Jacksonville won.
Okay, bring me up to speed on the Miss North Carolina pageants. So we had one of the competitors in here a week ago.
Yes, we did. Catherine Lee, and she represented Gastonia.
But she represented Oslo County.
But she's one of ours.
She is definitely one of ours.
And she did not win Miss North Carolina,
Mhm.
but I would say she's a winner anyway. And I will tell you right quick, as I was going to put that up and I did not do it. He won Miss North Carolina.
Did she come in at 11th, I think, or something? Is that what I
I'm
heard?
not really sure what place she came in. Friday, they picked the 11 finalist, and she did not make that cut. And, which we all were so disappointed.
Mhm.
But,
Definitely. Well, she's the winner in our hearts, number one.
All right, let me see.
Okay, while you look that up.
Michaela Kozlowski
From?
I remember reading it, but I don't know. Let's see. No, updated. That was 2025. I mean, no, this is May. What? All right.
I think you got the wrong stuff going over there, girl.
Yeah, I do. No, here we go. Here we go.
20
12 hours ago, I have it now. Miss North Carolina 2025 is Sophia Kellstrom, and she represents Davidson County.
Is that in North Carolina?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
I'm
is.
just kidding.
Yes.
Okay.
She's beautiful brunette, not as pretty as our Catherine.
Of course not.
But you know what? We're biased.
Okay. I'm not. I call them as a season.
But honestly biased. She's very.
I got pictures
Catherine-
to prove. I got pictures and we talked to her.
Yes.
So I know.
And
And she likes pets because we had a pet that we should have let Shockwave vote.
we should have let
So
Shockwave
Shockwave
go with her.
picked
And when
her
she went
right
out
up
on the
front.
stage in her gorgeous
Oh, God.
evening gown and just taken Shockwave with her,
Oh, yeah.
she would have won hands down.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
would have just continued.
Okay, now
the
let me
rest
tell
of it.
y'all something about pageants. Okay? Matters not which pageant it is.
It's Marty.
Oh, it's Marty.
Matters not which pageant it is. And Marty, I get to you to say, it matters not which pageant it
Mhm.
is. If you could sequester 3 other groups of judges, equivalent to the judges that are
Right.
picked for that evening, sequester them so they don't have a clue what's going on, and put the pageant on 3 nights in a row with a different set of judges who have not seen anything, and do it over again. You will never get the exact same results.
Well,
I will guarantee you.
sure.
That's
They
just
should
the way
let
it
us
is.
be
It's in the
judges.
eye of the beholder at that moment
Mhm.
in time. And not that there's anything wrong with what they picked or anything else, but you know what? Catherine, she's great. She's a great competitor, and should have won, but that's okay. That's my biased opinion. No, it's not biased. It's real. Hey, Marty.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, tell me, you were up close and personal. What was going on?
Yeah.
So I went to the North Carolina, not the big girls, but the teenagers.
Right.
Right.
So
You had a relative
but
participating.
my cousin was giving up her crown, so I was just there to support her. And then I did not go to the bigger ladies, but I know what place she came in. She
Oh.
came in 4th runner up, and then that makes her in the top 5.
Okay, that's what I thought.
We were cheering for her. It seemed like her name wasn't going to get called, but her name was the last one to call out of the 5. I said, all right. That's
Oh,
it.
nice.
Then when it was time to do it again, then 4th runner up, her name came up. All right, well, I think she gets some money for college.
Well, that's good.
All of them get something.
Sure.
So she did good. I mean,
I got no problem with that.
Right.
But again, if they had a different set of judges tomorrow night, she would. It's a good chance she could be Miss North
that's
Carolina.
what I.
That's
what I
just
told.
the way it is.
It is. Yeah, I told Candy that. I said my cousin won last year. If you had
She
3
did.
different judges out of the 5 from last year to this year, who knows? I mean, it's a different girl every year. I mean,
yep. So
You're absolutely right. They updated this list, and you're right. She did come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
so
She was
she's
fourth
fourth
runner
runner
up.
up.
that time last year, she was the 5 judges that she was the best, and that's the reason she won.
That's the way it works. That's the
You
way
just
that.
take it and run with it.
Well, congratulations, Catherine.
I've been to a bunch of these, so
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
God, I've been to a lot more than I probably should have been, but I was there to shoot pictures. So, okay, Marty,
Okay, I
thanks
just
for the
wanted to let you know.
update. All right, appreciate it.
All right, see you, babe.
Bye.
Yeah.
Okay,
Here's the
so
list of the top
4th
11
runner up,
finalists.
she is. She's. Go ahead.
What's that?
You got a list of the
Top 11 finalists. And they're not in order. I don't know
Oh.
that they're because Sophia Kellstrom is at the bottom of the list, and she became Miss North Carolina 2025. But it was Anaya Maynor, Miss Gaston County, Maura Westbrook, Miss Gardner, Hannah Wellborn Lewis, Miss Thomasville, Deamra Rowdy, Miss Lake Norman. Wow. Catherine Lee, Miss Gastonia. Michaela Young, Miss Smithfield, Haley Hudson, Miss Chapel Hill, Lauren Grace Mallard, Miss Caldwell County. Josie Purdue, Miss Charlotte. Lauren Walsh, Miss Ballantyne. And
Miss
Sophia
what?
Ballantyne, that's Charlotte area. Stephanie Kelstrom, Miss Davidson County.
All right, we need to get the key to the city, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, right.
Send him a note. Well, we'll give her the key to us. How's that? She gets live and local key anytime she wants. We need to get her back in here too. Talk about experiences.
Oh, she's such a wonderful young
She's
lady.
a nice,
you know?
nice person. Just a very
Yes.
nice person. So she'll do very well. She'll go far.
Yes.
Let's see anything breaking here. Yada 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 yada.
I do
yada.
have something from the Onslow County Sheriff's Office. Warns
What?
of a rising cash in a box scam targeting residents.
Cash in a box scam.
Yes, the
Oh,
Onslow County
Lord.
Sheriff's Office is
Yeah.
letting residents know they received a report where a victim was contacted by someone pretending to be part of a financial institution, aka bank.
I'm here from your
The
bank.
scammer
and-
claimed that a fraudulent transaction was pending and they needed to withdraw funds and prevent the transaction from being processed by transferring the money to another bank.
Mhm.
The scammer gave the victim a script to use at the bank to help avoid suspicion about why a large sum of money was being withdrawn. And then they would put the money in a box and ship it to a specific address. I can't believe people fall for this.
Did they spell the bank's name right?
Mm.
I don't know. The sheriff's office said never send cash to the mail or shipping services. That's a given. Never trust someone who contacts you out of the blue asking you to move or protect your money. Never give out personal or banking information to unknown
Sir,
callers.
Can you imagine them ringing my doorbell? Say, hey, come on in and sit down. Come on, my back is hurting. Can you come in
Never
and have a seat
follow-
over there on the couch over there? Don't. I'll be all right.
Never follow
These dogs
instructions
won't bite long.
to withdraw or transfer money due to fraud without verifying directly with your bank. And they're giving tips on what to do. Hang up and call your bank. Use the number on the back of your debit or credit card. Report suspicious activity to local law enforcement. Talk to friends, family, or trusted individuals before acting on financial instructions from strangers. Protect yourself and your money. When in doubt, stop, think, and verify. So many scams.
I just.
I get a
Please,
lot of those
people.
text messages.
Oh God, help them.
You know, you have
I get the phone calls too.
charged for $333, you know, from blah, 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 pending. Is this you? Click
Nope.
here. And I'm like, psh,
Don't click on nothing, honey. Just
nothing.
tell them to go away.
Click on
Fired
nothing.
up Tom Homan.
Oh, Lord.
He stole the microphone from the president
Wow.
at a rally to promote the big beautiful bill, strongly defending the president's deportation efforts and scolding Democrats for opposing provisions to give ICE more resources. The president said he called him up. He was sitting in the stands, so he called Tom Homan up. Homan said, "This issue with the big beautiful bill should be nonpartisan. What the hell is wrong with everybody up in Congress?" How long have I been asking that question?
I like that.
People are dying every day. ICE is
Years.
arresting 3 times as many criminals as we did during the Biden administration. We have over 600,000 illegal aliens. We have over 600,000 illegals with criminal histories walking amongst us.
Mm-hmm.
Do that one more time. Over 600,000 known foreign national criminals illegally walking amongst us. We got less than 5,000 people who can deport you. 5,000 to go after 600,000. That's just to go after them. The more resources we get more agents on the road. More agents mean more bad guys arrested. Who would be against that? I mean, I'm going to ask you that question. Who would be against that? I get frustrated. I get PO'd because I'm sick of meeting angel moms and dads. I'm sick of meeting and having to talk to the people, the parents of a kid who was murdered by a scum we should have arrested and deported. Actually, we should never have allowed him in the country. But we did
Mm-hmm.
because we told him to come on down.
What? Oh. Turn it off?
Just open the door
Oh,
and let the dog out.
oh. He's over there.
I know that. But let him go outside. He needs to visit the outside. He's eating.
Come on, Shockwave. Come on.
He said no. Oh, the cat's coming in. We got the Black Panther visiting. Come on, kitty. You're about to shut it on the cat.
Cats are first. Let's go. Don't move.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Okay.
All right, let me take him up this one.
You suppose this fire up there in Idaho and the shootings have anything to do with that guy charged in the killing of the people in the house? His trial is getting ready to get started.
No,
You don't think it has
I think it's
anything
for
to do
something
with that?
totally different.
Idaho is such a small place.
Yeah, but it's full of wackies.
Is it?
Yes. I have a friend that lives up there. It's full of wackies.
A group of Pennsylvania residents, they've got to go to court for a series of hearings on whether they should be forced
I
to
saw that.
travel to Idaho
hmm
for Brian Colbert's upcoming quadruple murder trial.
I mean,
30-year-old former criminology PhD student, for you guys who don't pay attention to news a lot, is a Pocono Mountains native who drove home from Washington State University between the slayings of 4 University of Ohio undergrads on November 13, 2022. God, has it been that long? And his arrest on December 30th of that year. 7 Pennsylvanians have been asked to testify. Of those, at least 5 have been requested to testify for the defense.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Each will have a chance to argue before a Pennsylvania judge why they should not have to travel before they can be forced to testify.
Have you watched any of that?
Well,
No, I
it-
have not.
God,
It almost
Almighty.
seems like that these people don't, like they're being subpoenaed against their will or something.
Well, they are.
Yeah.
They don't want to go. First
They
of
don't
all,
wanna
they don't
go,
want to go, even if it's like.
Well, because they don't want to be associated with that Looney Tune. I don't blame them.
And a bunch of them know who he is.
Yeah.
They're acquainted with him.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want to tell the truth, or if I tell the truth, what am I going to say? That he's a nut job, always has been? I don't know what they're going to
Just
say.
watch.
Oh
Some
no,
of
he
them-
went to church every Sunday and he's a good guy, and he was in the Boy Scouts.
I think they're worried about retaliation.
Who's going to retaliate against him?
Well, one of them.
Who likes this guy?
Well, no, what I'm saying is that if they testify and people get the wrong idea that they are
Oh.
trying to help him,
Oh,
that
with
like their
Idaho?
businesses are going to be. One of them's some kind of like a mechanic.
Uh-huh.
I think he's worried. I'd be worried about my business.
I tell you, I watched a lot of the motion hearings, and
Well, they got shut down over by
just-
that judge.
the judge went off
Judge
on
shut
him.
him down on what was it, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah,
where they can't present that alternate suspect
they're
theory.
trying to do the
Yeah.
third person theory.
Yeah, and judge said nope, can't do
Third
it.
Yeah, you don't
party,
have it.
third party
You have
theory.
no evidence. There's none there. So
His DNA's on the
I
knife.
can throw out speculation about it. Could have
Yeah.
been a Martian to drop down here.
The night
Oh, there
chief.
may be one person
is
in a
what's
jury
going
in
to
Idaho
win.
to
The
believe
night
that.
chief is going to do him, and his DNA is on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
dude,
Explain that.
explain
Yeah.
that. You didn't even live there.
Going to be the one piece of critical evidence because
And he crossed the
girl
state line to do all this.
with the roommate that saw him in the hallway that night,
Yep.
they're going to tear her up because all she could say is the bushy eyebrows. That's all she could describe. I mean, timelines and
You-
cell phone
you
records
put
and
it
all
all
that.
together. The bushy
Mhm.
eyebrows.
Right.
Somebody was there. We know that. She saw him. Can she positively identify him? No.
Right.
But that is one piece of evidence. One
Right.
little piece
Yeah,
of the
you put
evidence.
it all together, but I can tell you now
One
the
piece of a
defense is
puzzle
gonna
does not give you a picture.
Right. The defense will destroy her. But like, I do agree. It's the knife sheath.
DNA don't
If
lie.
his DNA
Yeah.
on it, that's going to be the striking.
Yeah.
Striking.
Well, the defense is also working real quickly because they know he's going to be convicted. All right. Yeah.
Right.
Done.
Right.
And
Right.
what they're working on is to try to gain some sympathy from the jurors, because they don't want them to give him the death penalty. Because he's up
It's
to get
like
the needle.
Louis Magion, the
Whatever.
one that
Louis.
killed the.
Yeah, but he's not as
Yeah, but the
Yeah,
sympathy
yeah.
that he has gained and the financial fundraising from people who think he did the right thing. This whole world
Yeah,
is
but that's
crazy.
different type people.
Yeah, I know. It's 8:15, Kelly.
Kelly got to go.
She
I
got to
look
go.
on it,
I've
yeah.
been watching the time.
Kelly
for
got to
her.
go. Got to go.
She's got to go. Got to
we,
go.
we need
What?
a theme song. Kelly got to go. Kelly got to go.
We get Steve to write us.
Well, hey,
one.
Steve. Yeah, we get Steve. Steve could write us a really
Yeah.
cool theme song.
Yeah. Kelly's got to go.
Kelly got to go. Kelly got to go.
Kelly's got to go.
Out the door she goes. There she goes. Out the door. Steve, I'm giving you some lyrics here. Some good words. Now she's going. The door is open, and now she's headed for the gate. The door is going to be closing. The door is now closed, and she's headed for the gate.
Wow.
Oh, what a perfect.
Phew.
I could write that one. I couldn't sing it, but
Write a poem.
I'm a
And
poet.
by
I
the
don't
way,
know it.
back earlier when you were talking about people calling you mean,
I am mean.
I mean, I have to agree. I don't think you're mean,
Why?
you know.
In what way am I not mean? I
You're not
want this
mean.
guy to, if he's guilty, Kohlberger, whatever his name is, if he's guilty, I want him to fry. Is that
I
being
do
mean?
too.
Well, then you're mean.
No, I'm saying I think you're not mean.
How about these illegals that are here in this country? Should they just be arrested? Should we just let them stay?
No.
Well,
They need
wait
to
a minute. You're
follow
going to
the
be
law.
mean.
Like I have to follow the law.
The
Like
law
you
says
have to follow
the law. When you are directed as a police officer to arrest somebody who's violated the law,
Right.
if you fail to do that, do you know you can be charged with it in North Carolina? I don't know about other states. If you are directed, if you are told to go enforce the law, and I refuse to arrest you or take action, I would be held
Responsible.
against my law, against my will.
If
No,
you-
I could be charged with a criminal act.
Well,
That is the reason that we should not be blaming these individual officers for anything. Now, as I said last week, when I reviewed the video, it ain't that bad, number one. Did the guy deserve, if he got popped in the face or popped in the head when he was down on the ground, that was not a beatdown, let me tell you. I know a beatdown when I say a beatdown.
I went back.
That
and-
was not a beatdown. I cannot say that he even got hit in the face.
I went back and watched the video, put my eyes
Yep.
on it, and in the role of the law enforcement officers in the role that they are in,
Mhm.
I think they handled it properly. We don't know for sure that the guy wasn't spitting it. I mean, there's a lot of things in the video it does not show.
That's right.
There's a lot of things in the video it does not show.
And we have to take the word of a Marine who, the son
Right.
of this man, who wasn't there.
Right.
He doesn't know anything. I don't blame him for supporting his dad. Okay, get over that. I don't blame him for coming to the aid of his dad. Even if he had been there, he would have been arrested too, but if he had gotten involved, but
Yeah, it makes me sad in a way
he does.
that this man spent, what was it, 30 something years here
35 years about.
in our country, working, becoming a part of the community. Raised three
a partial
sons.
part of the community. He
Well,
was not legal.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
had we not known that he didn't have immigration status, we would have said different. But he had three sons. They all became Marines.
Kudos.
And, I mean, it kind of makes me sad. But you know whose fault it is? It's his fault. He had 30-something years to get legalized.
Up here, and I forgot the name of that road. It's a dirt road. It went down to a dump, and there was a house.
Thomas Humphrey.
Something like
yeah,
that.
it was
One of
Thomas
those.
Humphrey.
I don't think I had a name in those days, but anyway, I drove a
Right.
school bus down
That
there.
was my meal route.
I dropped a kid off down there at
Right.
the end and had to do a turnaround to come back. I dropped him off one day. At the prescribed period of time, I ended up in
Mhm.
court because his turned out to be a stepdaddy. He said it was his dad. He didn't know the difference.
Right.
And as I was driving away and I got out to Wolf Swamp Road, is it?
Yeah, Wolf Swamp.
Where that's where the Pumpkin Center Volunteer Fire Department was on at
Yes.
the time. Their alarm
Yes.
went off. And they went down there because that house caught on fire, but he drove away with his dad. He drove away in the pickup truck with his dad, followed me out. They found timers sitting there.
Whoa.
A man set fire to his house.
Wow.
Okay, now, all right. Well, he was a nice family man. He raised a fine family, right? Yada, yada, yada. Nobody was at home at the time. House burned. Fire department got there kind of soon, and they put out a lot of stuff and lots of evidence left there. I was in court the whole time because they subpoenaed me to testify. What I saw, leaving the house, putting in proximity to that home at the time. That was the key there. Turns out this guy had escaped from prison 7 years earlier.
Well, see, that's a
Should he
whole
have been-
different story.
Should he have been arrested?
Do you think?
Forget that. Let's just say he didn't get caught for the fire. So let's say he did not burn the place, but a deputy sheriff would have arrived up and found out, well, he had a different, we ran his fingerprints and this is not who he says he is. He is so-and-so from years ago and he escaped from a Virginia prison or whatever. Should they have arrested him because he'd been a fine, upstanding young man in the city? Or
That's not
fine.
what I'm saying. Now.
Would you have arrested him?
That's not what. Yeah, I would have arrested
Absolutely,
him.
you would have to.
Right, exactly. But what I'm saying is, do you imagine Department of Homeland Security? Do we think Department of Homeland Security, the ICE, all of them? Do you think they have a long list already pre-typed? Like, well, if they've lived in the country for more than 20 years, we're going to let them slide. Oh, if they only, they have no criminal record and they're here illegally, we're going to let them slide. No, they just go after everybody. Work it out after that.
Rest of all, let the judge figure out who's not
That's
innocent, who's innocent and who's not.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Out to 20 nautical miles today, southwesterly winds, about 10 knots, increasing to 15 to 20, gust of 25 this afternoon, 2 to 4 footers. They're going to be about 4 seconds apart. Sounds and rivers a light chop today, becoming a little bit choppier this afternoon. Tomorrow, yay, those folks at the Division of Marine Fisheries will allow us to not only catch speckled trout again, you'll be able to keep a couple of them. I'm not sure exactly what the limit's going to be. You need to check before you go tomorrow. Check the DMF website last minute because they also have a habit of changing their mind up till Thursday before. Before you go, check the latest regulations. If you go out there and you violate the law and you get caught by Marine Fisheries or Marine Patrol, you're going to spend a couple of $100 at least in court. Okay? Southwesterly winds tomorrow, 15 to 20, gust to 30, seas 4 to 5 feet. Sounds and rivers going to be choppy. And on Wednesday, southwesterly winds 15 to 20, gust to 25 in the morning, seas 3 to 5, sounds and rivers choppy.
Today, a slight chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Sunny with a high near 92. Light southwest winds 9 to 14 miles per hour with gusts as high as 22. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 75. Tuesday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny with a high near 92. And Wednesday, a 90% chance of showers and possibly a thunderstorm with highs near 86.
I'm checking the latest breaking news here.
What? You
I'm
have
checking the latest breaking news.
Have you got some?
No.
If not, there's a story from Friday that I wanted to talk about.
I'm just
And-
checking the 8 o'clock advisory
Oh.
from the National Hurricane Center.
Oh,
On
okay.
disturbance number 1 is what they're calling it. And then there's Barry out there headed for the inland area of Mexico,
I
going
like
northwesterly. And there's who's this calling this time of morning? Potential spam, should I?
Go
Why
ahead.
not?
Let's hear it.
Good morning.
Hi, we are calling for Rayford Brown. If you are Rayford, please press 1.
Why?
If not, press 2.
Yeah, it says potential spam. That's a 2 call, right?
If you are Rayford.
She's still talking to
She
you.
wants to keep talking.
All right, back to the X's.
I don't talk to recordings either.
Hey,
by the
let's
way.
get back to the X's.
Well, there's only one X, and it's got a circle around it, so it's diminished to nothing now.
Right.
It's on its
Good.
way out. That's Barry moving inland. It could reform, especially if it go back out to sea, or if it crosses the entire peninsula down there, or the country of Mexico. It could go into the Pacific. We know it will change names if it does.
Right.
And then there's along the southern Gulf Coast, mostly around Florida, the panhandle of Florida. There's a little thing down there. It looks like a kidney, the way it's shaped, all the way down to near Miami, all the way up to South Carolina, an area of disturbance, they call it. It's a disturbance number 1, and it stands no chance of forming up in the next 48 hours and 20% chance of becoming something in the next 7 days. It's a weird one. This is a weird one because this is all the way across most of Florida. It's an area of low pressure. It could develop, but they're not giving it a whole lot of chance right now. Not anytime soon. We'll keep you up to speed on it. Just stay tuned.
Yes.
It is hurricane season, and
Start stocking.
it is hurricane season. We got 5 months to go.
Start stocking up.
If it comes after November 30th, it'll be out of season and illegal. We can arrest it.
You know, if you do that every payday, when you go to the grocery store, buy a few extra things to put in your hurricane locker.
I do that. I buy potato chips and I eat them.
Speaking of potato chips, the guest we had on a couple of weeks ago
Yeah,
with
buddy.
his business at potato, those are
They are
so good.
Well, they're very good.
I was very impressed with him.
Who's this?
It was like Chris Works.
Okay. Who's meaner, Chris or me?
Yes.
No, neither
You
one of us.
are. You are, Rayford.
I'm the mean man.
You're a curmudgeon.
Neither one of us are mean.
There you
There's
go.
nobody associated with Live and Local Real Talk is me.
So
I
you're
can
calling
be.
Theo a liar, right?
Oh,
No, Theo's my buddy. I think Leo meant that in a very loving way.
I like that. Very diplomatic.
I just wanted to say good morning, everybody, and let everybody know that tomorrow, obviously, is July 1st. And that leaves us 5 months, folks, to come up with 6,800 wreaths for our
Wow.
fallen veterans at the two
Nice.
cemeteries. I would like to thank the crew there and all the media that's been helpful, and the very generous citizens of Onslow County who have helped wreath honor our fallen veterans local group. We've been able to donate 918 of the total 100 of 1,714 wreaths.
Good.
That we have for the two cemeteries. I'd like to thank everybody. But I'd also like to remind them that 5 months where we need to get 6,800 wreaths. It's going to be challenging.
Yeah.
And we need everybody to really reach deep down into your heart and imagine $17 being able to buy one wreath. And $5 of that donation does go to the purchase of another wreath. It's very, very important. It's important to me. It's important to our veterans. More important than me. I'm nothing. It's the veterans that are the people that deserve this. At least 4 weeks of recognition as the wreaths lay there,
Yeah.
and their names are pronounced during the ceremony. I appreciate the opportunity to come on the show and talk about it.
we've been with it now for 2 years. Live and Local Real Talk is one of our biggest promoters. Our banner hangs there. We appreciate that. And you all are supporters as well individually. But if anybody listening to the program can reach out to a friend of theirs and say, hey, have you thought about donating to a veteran who's laying in one of these grave sites? If you haven't, give it a thought. $17 is minimal amount of money in reality. And unfortunately, due to some medical issues for Kathy, I am not going to be able to walk the 335 miles from Richlands to Arlington to raise money for the Reach Across America. I was going to do it. I had permission from the physician to do it, but the needs of others require that attention.
Well, our best in that situation too. And if there's anything we can do to help you, just don't hesitate to call.
Right here.
Here's what I'd like some folks around here to think about. Yeah, we're in Jacksonville. We're in Onslow County. We may not even be from here. We may be just visiting. We may be transplants. We may have moved here because we like it here. We don't know anything about your cemetery here. We don't have anybody in that cemetery, either one of those cemeteries here. Nobody military connected with us, yada, 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 here. What if you were in a person's shoes as the son, the daughter, the grandchild of a fallen Marine, a veteran who happens to be resting in peace here in Onslow County, and you're in Boise, Idaho, you're in Los Angeles, you're in wherever. Would you contribute then for these folks? I think you would if you were there and you knew about it. Now, folks right around here, they may not have anybody here. They may not know a Marine, maybe nobody who ever served who was killed. But here's a chance to, if you want to be part of the community, to really become part of the community. No, you're not buying your way in. You're just doing what good locals do every year. We may not have anybody ourselves in this cemetery, but the chances are we have somebody somewhere. And while we may not be able to go there to honor them where they are, we'll provide a little comfort for the families of those people who are in California who cannot come here. We will be your proxy.
That's a great way to put it, Rayford. We are a very caring community.
We are.
That was established back in Desert Shield when our troops went. And people may not know, but of the Beirut bombing, many of those young people are now laying in the cemetery here in Jacksonville, North Carolina, because they came from this base.
Yep.
And there's Army, there's Navy, there's Air Force. All the branches are in there, and it's something to actually just walk through there and look at some of the gravesite plate plots and markers, and to see some of the history of the Korean War, the Vietnam War, Afghanistan. I mean, it's just so touching. And when you mentioned, Rayford, you may not know somebody that's military. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say I'm 99% sure. Every car dealership in Jacksonville has sold a car to a Marine.
Right.
Every realtor in Onslow County, I guarantee you, has sold or rented a house to a Marine or a Navy personnel, somebody related to military.
Yep.
I can't preach much more about it. I do my best, and I know y'all do. And when I use the word I want everyone to really understand it's not about Chris. I have nothing to do with it except do the paperwork and try to get people to.
He does the hard work. The rest of us can do the easy part.
Donate.
I appreciate that, Rayford. But you folks with what you do. You're a valuable part of our team. We thank you, and I hope everybody has a blessed June 30th.
We're honored to be part of this. So let's, it's time to, think about it again. We got the 4th of July up here. And you know what? A whole bunch of those individuals lying in state out there, lying in resting in peace. I mean, that's what that whole thing is. Let's help them rest in peace some more. We need to think about this Independence Day coming up. The reason we probably don't have any Revolutionary War soldiers out here. However, we've had soldiers, we've had Marines, we've had sailors, we've had coasties, we've had airmen, we've had all sorts of folks from here to guarantee that stuff that we are able to celebrate every 4th of July, that we can continue to celebrate it every 4th of July. Because there are entities out there and on this earth who do not want us to be able to do that. But we have this group that went before us to help guarantee the future for this country. And we have dedicated members of our armed forces, all of them, who are dedicated right now to continue to preserving our future.
And our
17 bucks. Guys, you can't go to Hardee's with a family of 2 to get a full meal. Unless you want to go away hungry.
One thought is, those that are going to go out and buy $100, $200 worth of fireworks to do in their yard, and that's great. That's great. Maybe cut it back by $17 and buy $83 worth of fireworks. And then when you light them off, after you've made a contribution to purchase a wreath and to donate a wreath, pop off one of those firecrackers for the person whose name or whose gravesite's going to get that wreath.
Yep, absolutely.
Just an idea. Anyway, it's a wreath honoring our fallen veterans. It's on Facebook. And if you have any questions or anything, need help, 910-389-8698. And I thank you in advance for any consideration to all the listeners. And again, to our team of Live and Local Real Talk, God bless you.
All right.
Folks.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Chris.
Thank
Have a
you.
blessed day.
Best to Kathy, too. Okay.
All right,
Give her our regards.
Did you know that June 28th, which was, what day was that?
Saturday.
Was proclaimed Charles Miracle Day by the city of
I
Jacksonville?
did not know that.
Harry
Really?
Brown Harry Brown, our former senator, read the proclamation from the city of Jacksonville on behalf of Mayor Sammy Phillips,
Oh, cool.
declaring June 28th, 2025, Charles Miracle Day. Congratulations,
Wait a
Charlie Miracle.
Charlie Miracle died? Did you
No.
say that?
No, I
Oh,
just
okay.
say no. He's accepting the award, so
I thought
he looks pretty good. If
Well,
you
he does. Last time I
like
saw
that.
him, you scared me because, I've known Charlie years ago.
Right. Well, here's some. It
Charlie
looked
was a
like a
nut.
birthday. It says cheers to 90 years. I wonder if it was his birthday.
That could
He's
have
not
been
90. Is he 90?
it. Could very well be.
Oh, Theo's calling with some love for you.
The mean fighting machine that I am.
I'm
Good
just-
morning, Theo. How
Just
are
sitting
you?
back.
Good morning, deplorables. What's going on?
Oh, I'm not deplorable anymore. I'm just mean.
You're a mean deplorable.
Okay. I'll accept that. I'm good.
Chris, if you listen, what's going on? You're not going to make it, or what happened? Why don't you go to Vital Signs and make some flyers out and send them to all these dealerships and whoever you think should be, who made so much money over the so many years with the Marines. Make some flyers out. I'm sure the senator will give you a good break on some flyers and send them out real quick. But, with the prices of everything going up, it's very hard for people to even $17 is a lot of money for them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just a suggestion. So, Rayford,
Yes.
you don't want to be mean, but I'm afraid that boat has sailed.
Who says I don't want to be mean?
Okay? So here's the
Here
the
we go.
definition for refugee. Refugee. A person who has been forced to leave their country in order to escape war, persecution, or natural disaster. So, if you have Ukrainians coming over here, if you got Palestinians, now every other country takes these people. You're not the only one, so don't go too nuts about it. But every other country takes these people. Whoever has a boat from Gaza will go in there and go in one of the islands of Greece. We'll go to Italy. Anything in the Mediterranean. Some of them will find their way here. Okay? What's the problem? Now you're calling these people gangsters and you're calling them illegal immigrants?
They are illegals.
This is where a refugee is. So how would you handle it if you were president?
I would, if they are declared illegals, which they are.
Listen, Rayford, I said if you had Haiti that just went through a natural disaster and the people left and some of them went to different countries and some found their way here and they're waiting at the border to let them in because a refugee, the definition is escaping natural disaster. What would you do if you were president?
First of all, let's go back just a little bit. These individuals that are leaving Haiti today, they are doing it on a regular basis. We are turning them away. We're picking them up at sea, and we're returning them to their home countries. We are not bringing them into the United States when we know, whether they're refugees, you could classify them as that or whatever you want to do. I would turn them away at the border without vetting. If they want to be vetted, they can apply outside the United States. They can apply for asylum as the law prescribes. Why do I bend the law for somebody and not for everybody else?
You're not bending the law for everybody. Anybody that can come in legally, like me and other people, came in the proper way. It takes over a year to come, to process, to be sponsored and all that. These people had a disaster in their country. They have to leave. There's no food. Their houses are gone, and they're coming to different countries, and they come to a USA. What would you do? You can't send them back. They can't go back. The place is disaster. What would you do if you were president? What do you mean you're going to turn them away? Don't you have the refugee? Isn't the refugee mean something to Americans?
No, not really. No. Legal, if you want to come into this country legally, there are ways to do it. If you are a refugee escaping from a country you will move to the head of the list, the top of the list for your asylum. But you're coming in as there have to be programs set up to be able to do that. We can't just open the borders as was done. First of all, right now, the number of people that are coming into this country illegal is what? 5% of what was coming into the country 3 years ago, 2 years ago? We get about 3, 4, 5% that number. So obviously they did not have as many reasons to leave as they claimed because they are not coming in here now.
This is where it makes you mean. Because if you had a disaster in North Carolina and you had to flee North Carolina, somebody will stop you from going to Virginia or South Carolina and say, wait a minute, I got to see some papers before I let you in. Okay? All right, let's talk about asylum. Asylum. The protection granted by a nation. The protection granted by a nation to someone who has left their native country as political refugee or to shelter. That's the first one. A, you're going away from your native country because of political refugee, or B, shelter or protection from danger. Okay? That's what asylum is.
Right, but
So
you have to apply for
leaving
it.
their country for whatever reason, political. Like you saw the guy from the president of Syria. He just packed up and went to Russia, and they accepted him. Oh, no problem. What paper? Nah, you're okay. Come on in. Okay, so these are the people that are down on their luck right now for one reason or another. They need help from a big hand. Let's say a Bible Belt thinking people that say, come on in, we're going to help you. Something about the Statue of Liberty that tells you, come on in. That's why they gave it to you, because you were a different country then. And now all of a sudden, you're taking these people and throwing them back out to the wolves. And you don't call that mean?
I call that upholding our laws.
Let me ask you another thing. These people came for asylum. You didn't have enough people, and Biden asked you, let me have more judges and more lawyers to process these people. And the House Speaker went over to Trump, and Trump says, don't do anything right now. I'll take care of it when I come in. Okay? So, you heard, right, that people are here for asylum, and their papers are pending, and they're going to the court, proceeding with their paperwork, and all of a sudden, the ICE people are outside the courts grabbing these people. And you said it's fine. This is what makes you mean. And you got it deep in you. Okay? You can ask anybody and make a joke out of it, and you can ask anybody you want. Okay? But this is what compassion, taking care of human beings, showing respect for human beings is about. The drug dealers, the gang members, and whatever else you want to call it, the criminal, they're all yours. Go get them. You had a badge and a gun. That's what your job was. Go get them. Nobody said to keep them here. But when you go into the court, all right, it's a two-faced thing. When you say asylum, come over here, I'll help you. And then when these people are venting their status, they're going around every month showing their papers, and the judge says, come back next month and this and that. Now, the latest that I want to tell you about is an Iran woman that's been here for 50 years. She's married an American citizen. She was, like I said, 47, 50 years. So this weekend, she was picking figs at her yard. Well, a whole mess of agents showed up. They handcuffed a woman, who, I'm not sure what her age is. They handcuffed her and took her to a detention center, okay, without saying anything. What kind of system is this, man?
Why did they do that?
Why?
Yeah.
Because according to you, she's an illegal immigrant.
Is she an illegal alien? Is she here legally? I don't care how long she's been here. Is she here legally?
Ready for it?
Yes.
Why she didn't get her American citizen papers when she was married to the guy, the American
because
citizen?
Because the law is you have to go. Even if you come here and you marry an American citizen, do you know that they will put you through all sorts of things to make sure you're doing it because of you want to be married to him and not for the convenience? Do you have any idea how many?
That happens.
It happens a lot.
That happens, and they catch them. Okay, but
they don't always
married
catch them.
for 40. You're married to this man, but there's got to be a more humane way of doing things. You're putting a lady up in her age, 70, 56. You're putting her in handcuffs, and you take her to a detention center where you have another 100 people there, and she's spending time. Now her folks have to go get a lawyer and this and that and this and that. Come on, don't you see the process is not American? It's not American.
Why would you not know and apply for your citizenship?
She has been going for her papers. So they got her going for her papers. She's been doing that for 30 years.
I don't believe that.
You've got something wrong.
Go check it out.
Don't believe it. I'm reading a story right now, and nowhere in the story does this say that.
She's been.
It says she applied for asylum
and visiting her for a long time. Okay, but you can come up with any excuses you want. But I gave you the definition of a refugee, and I gave you the definition of asylum. So do me a favor then. Change the laws. Take the word asylum and refugee out, and then you'll be in the clear. Nobody will come into this country again. Okay?
Okay.
Or they're going to come in properly. But every country is doing that. They're taking refugees and asylum seekers all over this world. You are not the only one that you got to feel sorry for yourself. Okay?
Let's see what this says.
I just want to be safe.
Rayford?
That mean is still there, buddy.
Okay, I'm still here. I don't claim I'm not mean. You said I was mean. I'm giving you all the credit in the world for saying it.
Yeah, well, nobody wanted to admit it. As far as Tom Tillis, tell him, hey, Mr. Tillis, you're not a senator anymore, thank God. But Mr. Tillis...
He still is for a year and a half.
18 months.
Yeah, for 18 months, okay. So he would have lost because, the Democrat was caught with some extramarital thing, or else he would have lost a long time ago, okay?
What?
But Cunningham, what was his name? They threw him out because of that, all right? And then Tillis won
I know what he's
automatically.
talking about.
I have no clue.
The guy who ran, the Democrat who ran against Tillis, what was his name?
There's a
You
bunch.
talking about John? That was so long ago. What was
Okay,
his-
that guy. He would have won.
Okay, that guy.
Okay, I
Yeah.
don't remember his name either. But let him know that this is the land of the free and the brave. And, you're going to have to stand up once in a while instead of going home. Take care.
Okay, yeah.
Don't even have an idea what he's talking about.
And what Theo says, part of the complication of her status is due to her first marriage, which the court reported as improper and fraudulent, and subsequently interfered with her green card application once she married to the second husband.
So it doesn't.
So
count.
there are some requirements that she did not
She was
make.
in the country illegally. She did not meet the requirements to be here, and she failed to abide by it. And the marriage was a scam.
She
It was
she
a
yeah,
sham,
she
that's what it
did
was.
apply several times 24 years ago for asylum. They denied the asylum at that time because of her fraudulent marriage.
Yeah.
Since then, she did not try to straighten it out.
That's on
become
her.
a
That's not on me.
U.S.
That's not
citizen.
my problem. So
I
goodbye.
hated that she built a life and a family here.
That was her
but
fault, not mine.
That's exactly right.
Okay, that's an easy fix. Goodbye.
No, we have to look at, for every story, there's another story, and I know this is going to be, it's Jennifer. Jennifer. I didn't mean it like, it's Jennifer. I mean,
Yeah, that's
it's
what she said. Oh
Jennifer.
my God,
No,
it's Jennifer.
I sounded
Hey,
like
Jennifer,
that.
how are
I
you?
heard that.
No,
I
it's-
heard that. Oh, it's Jennifer. I mean, my goodness.
I'm sorry.
What she was thinking is she took a deep breath and said, "Oh,
I'm coming off the
thank God
Theo
it's
call.
Jennifer. It's
Okay.
Jennifer."
I mean, if you talk about me like that, and I thought you kind of sort of, I thought we were friends. I'd hate to know what.
I was coming off the Theo call. I had to. I'm
well,
sorry.
I know, and
I
that's
didn't
the only
adjust.
reason I'm calling.
Love
Okay.
you.
Because nobody can ruffle my feathers anymore. And Rayford, you're not mean. You're like me. You're opinionated. I mean, that you're going to tell it like it is.
Yeah, mean to
And
the
that's-
bone.
And that's
I'm
why
proud of it.
I want to bless his sweet soul. I don't know, Theo. I'm beginning to think he's illegal. I've never.
He's not.
Never.
And he's a very nice guy, believe it or not. I got a great
Yes,
family.
he is. Yes, he is.
Yes.
But I mean, I have never heard somebody fight so hard for the illegals. Would he fight that hard for regular American citizens? I mean, it's bless his heart. He spends it however he needs to spend it, and take care of your own. If he's that wants to get in it, I mean, run for office or something. But I mean, I reckon I see things through a whole lot different lens than maybe other people. As far as that lady, if she's been in the country for 50 years, why hasn't she already gone? I mean, that's stupid to advocate for these people that's been here for years and years and years and years and years, just existing, thinking, well, we've done it for this long, we'll go on. Why haven't they already taken care of that?
Well,
And-
she came here with either got married here or married somewhere else and came here as the wife of or whatever. But even when you do that, you have to go through. Immigration's going to question you. I had a coworker. He was our lab rat in Wilmington. That means he worked down in the photo lab, and that's where he spent his time, a lot of time in the dark. He had traveled to Japan, stayed there for a little while, met a girl, brought her here. They were going to get married, and they did. But before she could even be considered for citizenship, she had to go to Charlotte. They were in Wilmington, go to Charlotte multiple times for interviews.
Yep.
And the two of them were separated. And there will be a list of questions during these times to find out what you really know about each other. Hello? Because sometimes we do know how those things happen. This Russian mail order bride scam.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? You understand how those things work?
I've got a very dear friend that I worked with at Piggly Wiggly. Her husband, born and raised in Mexico, he came over here on a work visa. He came over here to work the one of the big farms, and that's how they met. I mean, he couldn't speak a lick of English. She learned Spanish. They met, started dating, fell in love, got married. They've been married for years. They have a daughter that her husband's in the Air Force. They've got a granddaughter. But I was working with her when they were on their, I don't know how many times they had already been to Charlotte and how much money they spent. But he is legal. He is an American and had been going through. It wasn't like, oh, well, I better go ahead and get my papers. He had been going through the process ever since he had decided to stay here, get married, blah, blah, blah. And they did it the right way. So I know people that have done it the right way. I have really no sympathy for the ones coming over here just hanging out, taking all the benefits from the other people. And that's as far as I'm going to go on that, because I'm not going to get started on that today.
Okay.
Well, I've got some more information on that.
All right, Jennifer, thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
All right.
Best to
Y'all have
Terry.
a good day.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. And here's some more information I
Me.
found.
Not her, me.
ICE New Orleans chapter wrote in a X post on June 26. On November 17th, 1983, the former Immigration and Naturalization Service served Cash, whatever this woman's name is, in order to show cause charging deportability for overstaying her admission. A U.S. visa is a privilege, not a right, and it is reserved for those who respect U.S.
And
laws.
it has a termination date on it.
In another post, ICE New Orleans wrote she was ordered by a judge to depart the United States and didn't. Shouldn't be a surprise. We came knocking.
Sooner or later, you know they're coming. You know they're going to have you. Sooner or later, there's a day you're going to dread. You either need to get it fixed or you're just going to have to face the consequences. We are not here to be a nation of refugees because they want to be here. If they want to be here, they can apply legally to be here. Now, when you come in and you don't do what you're supposed to do, your chances are dropped greatly when you do want to come back and get into the country. No.
Well,
it's not going to happen. No. Political asylum, what was her political asylum problems? How many years ago was that? 1983?
1983 is when they first served her. Well,
1979, they had an uprising there, you know.
That's right.
They attacked the United States citizens.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay.
That's what got her on the list to begin with. But, you know, I'm hopeful that things will straighten out and that she'll obtain the legal status to be
You can be hopeful all you want. I don't care. You understand? Whether she does or doesn't. If she gets it, good for her. If she doesn't, go away. That's the mean part of me. But I'm not going to sit over and bend over backward for someone who has violated our laws for, 30 plus years?
Hey, one of our friends on Facebook made a comment. He said, I can see Rayford coming out the door and yelling at the kids to get off his lawn.
No, I've invited them to my lawn quite often and played out in the yard with them.
It's Steve.
Mean machine here. Could you help me out?
You're mean.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Been running around doing errands this morning. Went into the box store and got me some stuff. I'm going to put a trellis over top of the whole garden, and I've ordered me a shade cloth to cover the whole daggone thing.
I need one. Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's what we need to do now. You missed it earlier. You were out and about. we need
what to
something
do.
cut, a little short ditty. Kelly's got to go. Kelly's got to go. Kelly's headed for the door. Kelly's out the door. Kelly's headed for the gate. Goodbye, Kelly.
No, we should start it with,
Hey,
she'll be here any minute.
Sounds like
She'll
you
be
just
here
wrote it,
any
man.
minute.
So,
She's out the
yeah,
door.
You can put that to music and send it to me. How about that?
Yeah. A lot of things talking about this
Oh,
morning.
Lord,
I was
so
trying to listen to
many.
as much of it as I could, towards, in and out. But first thing I want to say is about Tom Tillis.
Mhm.
I don't agree with some of the things Tom Tillis believes, but I believe he is a person of good character, and I consider him a truth teller. And right now, he's putting his whole career on the line to tell us that this is a bad bill that they're trying to pass.
Well, he did. He committed political
Um,
suicide by standing up for what he believed in.
What he believes in. And
Mhm.
mind you, not even a year ago during the campaign, all they kept talking about is that they had to get the out of control Democrat spending under control, that the Democrats were spending like drunken sailors. Now, only 6 months into it, in their first major bill, they want to explode the debt, increase it by more than it's ever been increased before. And at the same time, they said they weren't going to touch Medicaid, and now they want to cut Medicaid by $1 trillion. So, between the trillion they're going to cut in Medicaid and the $2 trillion they're going to explode, they're spending $3 trillion on the first bill, adding to the debt. It don't sound like that they're doing what they said they were going to do. Sounds like they're doing just the opposite.
Yeah, let me ask you just a question or two because I'm not overly familiar with it. Medicaid is a state deal, right? The states take
It is
care of that
supplemented. It's supplemented by the federal government.
at the federal government's whim, right? But it is a state function, and the state can give them money if the feds can give them money if they want to. So apparently they don't want to anymore. The Medicare stuff that they're talking about cutting. There are going to be so many millions of people that are not going to be eligible for Medicare. Those are the folks that have been getting the illegal aliens. For instance, a significant number have been given Medicare over the years, over the decades by mistake, and it was a stupid move. But now they're going to cut it out. Bad timing, I guess, but that's just the way it is. So I don't. My Medicare is not going to be cut. You're not old enough. Lee's is not going to be cut.
He's talking about, but they're talking
I would
about.
like to interject something there, Rayford, if I could.
Go ahead.
The reason they're making these cuts now is to pay for the last tax cut that Trump gave to the extremely wealthy.
Yeah. Okay.
And now at the same time, they want to give an even bigger tax break to the extremely wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, we're going to have to pay the bill on that one.
Okay.
So if they cut Medicaid by $1 trillion this time, what are they going to cut next time to pay for the giveaway they're putting in this bill?
I don't know. I don't know how much. I don't know how much I have not looked at any of the tax cuts for the wealthy. I don't know what it says, to be honest with you. So
say on that.
It's worth looking at.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I've been busy.
But they got a $1 trillion tax cut under Trump's first administration that was never paid for. They never found a way to recover that money. So that's why it was the largest tax. The debt increase in American history was Trump's first term.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're trying to sell it as that if they don't pass this bill, it's going to be the largest tax increase in American history. And it will, because those tax benefits are going to expire. So the big giveaway he gave them, when they lose it, we're going to get all that tax money again that he gave away.
Okay, I will find.
So it will be a big tax increase, but not on us.
I'm going to find somebody somewhere who would give me some facts and figures. So that's the only thing I can look at. Real dollars here, real dollars there.
I agree. Don't trust me.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't trust me.
And don't trust the news. Go look it up.
Amen.
I tell people all the time, don't trust me. I'm just as subject to be wrong as anybody.
And my problem is I'm not sure I can trust what I read while
That's
looking
just
it up
it.
because I don't know where to go to. But I will find somebody that will tell me. Somebody.
I was going to say, that's a difficult thing for everybody
Yeah,
to be able to seek out the truth.
It is.
There's a lot of noise out there. I'll give you that.
All right, we got one more caller before we go, Steve. Thank
Hi,
you.
Steve.
Y'all have a blessed day.
Appreciate it. You too.
I have one question
Okay.
though.
Yep.
If Trump created this tax decrease for billionaires when he was in office before, and it's still, still ongoing, why did not the Biden administration do something to tear that down?
I don't know. I
Just curious.
it's politics, and I hate it. I hate it with a passion. Every time I get into it, I hate it. Is this Kathy?
This is Kathy.
Hey,
Hi,
Kathy.
Kathy.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's happening? Happy Monday.
You too.
No, it's not Monday.
Great to hear from
Is
you.
it Monday?
Yes, it's Monday.
Oh
Is
God, I
your
went straight from Friday to Monday.
last day of the
What
month.
Well, it could be worse if you could have five Mondays in a row. So,
Hey.
No, yeah.
I think, so it could be worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to talk a little bit about maybe the food stamp part because I worked at the DSS and I worked in the food stamp
That's right.
department, and we at that time could not get enough people on the food stamp program. They were begging us to go out, and we had to set up hubs like out in Swansboro and other areas in order to get these people on food stamps because they kept saying, "Well, you're under." They did not have enough. There was so much money in food stamps that they just didn't have enough the population, and that's why they put all the little substations in the low-income areas, which is where DSS is. It's down in like down where I don't know what you call it, the Senate is, but they moved them down there. But originally we were over in Newbridge area. But we opened up some hubs so that we could get that group in to start giving out food stamps. And they still kept saying, you need to give out more. We've got to get more clients. But we tried everything we could, to get them. And I finally was like, hey, I got a good idea here. If they need to give away some food stamps, why don't they compensate the employees? give us $50 so we can have a steak dinner.
There you go.
Absolutely.
But they didn't go for that one.
I'm sure they didn't. That was
But like I said, the FDA, they were really they control it. They regulate it, and they just don't have enough clients on food stamps. And they need more in order to keep getting more and more and more into their budget. So food stamps is available out there, and people should apply, especially families that are like 3 and 4, and even the military. They're qualified.
Yep.
They're qualified. They're not exempt at all. So just don't come in there with your FUBUs on and your your hair all done and your nails all done and everything, because they're going to wonder, well, that could have been put food on the table.
Right.
But no, just be honest and come in there, bring their LES and your pay stub, and let them see if they can work out something, But the only thing that bothers me the most is our senior citizens. Most of my senior citizens ended up getting like maybe $10 to $12, and it's because they were getting their husband's retirement or they were getting their Social Security, but they were so grateful for that $12, Rayford. They loved it. And it was just like, oh, that'll buy me a loaf of bread, and it'll buy me a gallon of milk, and back then it would, and they were grateful. But you got people now that aren't grateful for the amount of money that they're getting, but it's a push. It's there to help them. And if they understand that, then that's a benefit, and they'll come in every time and get recertified, and they'll be in a pleasant mood, not all cranky because they didn't get $750, for food.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other programs, like the LIAP program. That's the electricity. They can come in and get help with to pay their electric bill one time a month or a year. If it's really over the head. So there's a lot of great programs available for them down at Department of Social Services. So that's the path that's the yellow brick road that I'm building for them.
Yeah, I understand. I understand completely. I've told the story a few times about food stamps when they had regular food stamps. Do you even have food stamps anymore? The book.
Right.
No, it's called a,
No, it's a
EBT
card.
card, right?
card.
But back in the
Yeah.
days, we used to raid. Well,
Yeah.
I went along on raids with ALE for illegal outlets. They're juke joints, they call them, places that serve liquor by the shot. And a shot would cost you $2 in the bar, right?
Right.
That's what
Mhm.
just a shot would cost you $2. If you got
Yep.
food stamps, it's going to cost you $4 in food stamps. Now, here's the way that worked. They're not supposed to. They weren't there so they could get the money back from food stamps. But the shot dealers the juke joints had a deal with a grocery store in Wilmington, one of those shoddy little grocery stores, and they would take the $4 in food stamps, and the food stamp guy, the vendor, would give them $3 for that $4, and then the food stamp guy the grocery store would get $4.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
And
for
that's
$3 invested,
Right.
and then the guy
And
paid.
that's
That's what was going on. We seized
They got
those.
away from the stamps, Rayford.
We know.
Because
Yep.
people were out selling their food stamps
Yep.
because you cannot buy alcohol, you
That's
cannot
right.
buy tobacco.
Yep.
So they had to buy food.
Yep.
So they were selling them.
So
So they said, well,
Mhm.
there's got to be a way to not sell them. So they gave them these EBT cards that look just like a credit card. So now they don't look embarrassed when they go up to the register and they say that if their bill is, $26.85.
Yep.
They just scan it. It's like a
Right.
regular credit card,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't sell any of the money. Now, they can have somebody standing behind them and tell them, hey, I'll give you so much money if you pay for this
Correct.
year.
I
But they can do that. They can still scam.
know a
Because
lady
that's what they
here that would go in and buy expensive cuts of meat with her card and then sell the steaks and other pieces of meat for
Yeah.
half price to people
cash.
on the street
Yep.
so she could go buy her drugs.
Right. And there was no way to really stop them.
Nope.
Yeah.
just catch them one time, and you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we try and do it every way we possibly could. And we were hoping the state would come up with another way because we did good when taking away the paper ones.
Yeah, I
But
understand.
we thought the EBT card was going to be the best solution for it in the world, but you can't regulate it. They're going to buy something for somebody, and they're going to get the money for it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm glad you're
tough.
trying, Kathy. I'm glad you're working on it, or that they were
You go,
working on it.
girl.
Yeah, well, like I said, that was my undercover work
All right.
back in the day. But I
Yep.
just wanted to just let you guys heads up on a little bit about food stamps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But-
Thanks, Kathy.
Tell these people if you go out and just go find out if you're qualified. It doesn't hurt. Just go find out.
Yeah,
if you're
just go
qualified.
down. You
That's
never
right.
know. You just never know. Okay,
You never know.
I think I'll go
Good.
down.
But
See what
Y'all have
happens.
a great Monday.
All right, thank
and
You too.
Enjoy the weather, and I will talk with you all soon.
All right,
Bye-bye.
take care, Kathy. I didn't call her Stephanie today anyway, did I?
No, you did good.
Hey, Kathy. All right.
Jennifer was talking about, remember when she brought up the fact that she tried to get food stamps?
Yeah, I know.
And all they would give Terry is $12 a month.
Yeah.
My mother was on Social Security and she was making less than $10,000 a year. And she only qualified for like $10, $15 a month food stamps. And I told them, keep it. I mean, really?
Yeah.
I don't understand the system.
I don't either. And it's just,
I do believe that we need to make some major cuts in Medicaid for the ones that are getting it that don't actually
yeah,
qualify
I do too.
for it.
I do too. We need to do something for those individuals who have to use hospital emergency rooms as their
Yes.
primary care,
Yes,
because that's not good.
right.
It's not good for the patients. It's terrible for the hospitals. And even if they got Medicaid, that they can do it at the hospital, but that's just not the way it's supposed to be done because the hospitals get tied up. And the ER is for what they call, what's the first word? Emergency.
Well, that's why you see a lot of these hospitals like Onslow
What happened to
struggle because they lose a lot of money each year, a lot of money that they have to write off because of,
Mhm.
people not paying bills.
Yep.
They can't afford it.
Yep.
Anyway, we got to go.
All right, we're gone. We will see you tomorrow morning. Who do we have?
Surprise visit.
Oh, okay.
Whoever walks in. We have several people in the tap. We've had them promised for like a month now, so
Yes, I know.
we'll get there.
You're live and local real talk. We're always awake, never woke.
Yep.
And we got to get Steve to write us a jingle.
Yes, we do.
We had fun. All right,
All
we'll
right.
see you tomorrow morning. Y'all be safe out there, and you feel free to call us in the mornings, because if you want to talk to a mean man, just talk to me. If you don't, we'll let you talk to these other two young ladies in here. They're not mean. They're not mean. I'm mean. It's been said. I'm mean.
I try to be positive.
All right, we'll see you in the morning. Bye.